Have we had a session like a long time ago or no?
Yeah, we had one session a long time ago. I quit MapleStory about 2 or 3 years ago. I wanted to came back when there had a big scandal with the flames, with the system or something.
The compensation?
Yeah.
Was it in
so
April?
I just logged. So I just logged in, got my stuff, didn't use it, only got my fake arcane weapon, and just like didn't touch the game until like 2 weeks ago.
Everything expired when you came back?
Yeah, that's really rough, but
well, you got the weapon out of it. That's a big boost. Okay, so you're in a guild, not in a guild? Are you looking for a guild?
Yeah, I can look for a guild. Like I have free time. I finished school right now, so I have a lot of free time. So yeah, I'm looking for a guild. I would like to join your guild.
Yeah, sure.
If possible.
Yeah, you can apply. Oh, look, Stream Elements just put it in the chat right when you said it.
Oh.
There you go. Like, there's all the information.
Okay.
It's like the computers are listening, man. But you don't have Tsava yet?
No. I like have it in like about like 6 months or more.
6. Okay. All right, so time to grind some maple.
Yeah. By the way, I didn't update that. My shoulder, I bought an Epsilon shoulder and got it to 21% luck.
Okay.
So that's a change.
Yeah.
Everything else is fine. Like the same.
Okay, we'll keep that in mind. Someone says you sound Hebrew. That's a good observation. Good job. I kind of thought so too. But it's all good. Okay, yeah. So what kind of stuff are you into when you're playing? Like, what kind of content do you like doing the most? What are you aiming? Do you know what you want to achieve, or do you just want to move forward, or do you have a specific goal?
I really like. To be honest, I was a Demon Slayer main back in like when I started Maple like 4 years ago, and then I switched to a Nightlord because I didn't really like the bossing of a Demon Slayer, even though it's like a bit funner to boss. Like when I came back, I felt a lot more fun for my Demon Slayer than my Nightlord.
Yeah, the kit changed a lot, right? The extra skills.
And I feel like what I liked about Nightlord, I could choose Helix really easily. I could just stand by the side and throw the stars.
You got the Assassin's Mark flying around, killing the potatoes.
Yeah, killing the potatoes.
Long enough range. Yeah. And the big star now that you can control when it detonates.
Yeah.
That's also a nice addition. The throw star blasting is a really good addition to the kit, I think.
Yeah, I feel like Nightlord is fine, but I really wanted, like, when they announced Ho Young, I really wanted to switch mains. But before that happened, I quit Maple because of school. So I really don't know what's the state of Ho Young right now and every other class. I really like grindy classes. I like to farm a lot and level up.
Yeah, Ho Young is in a really good position right now. There is a balance change coming soon where Ho Young is losing a lot of their bossing bursts, but their bossing burst right now is like very close second, from what I can tell, very close second to Nightlord. So they'll be a little bit further down, but they'll still be like overall very heavy burst class that's really good at it. But I think they're one of the best mixes of both good and strong mobbing and also really good bossing and good mobility and survivability. Like, the only thing they don't have at all is support. Like, they don't bring anything to the team in terms of supportive capabilities, but everything else they do really, really well, I think.
Oh, okay. Like, what's the best class in your opinion right now after the balance change that is gonna come up?
Yeah, so that's a little tricky to say because we have the reboot passive changing as well. Have you heard about that?
No.
So now when the reboot passive is like you get extra drop rate from bosses, you get a little bit of attack, a little bit of HP, right? But the main thing is that you get 1% damage every 2 levels.
Yeah. Like,
Yeah, so if you're level
okay.
232, right, you get like 116% damage. That's a lot. And the thing is that when your class relies a lot on gaining attack and boss damage, because it gets thrown into one pile when you're bossing into one big number, you get because it's additive, you get reduced efficiency, right? You can imagine if you have 1,000% attack and you add 1% attack, overall to your damage, it doesn't improve your damage very much if you already have so much. And because of that, the passive is going to be changed to, instead of giving you damage percentage, it's going to give you final damage instead. So that way,
that's better, or that's
it's better in the way that it does what the system wants to do. What the system wants to do is it wants to improve everyone's damage. But right now, it does that, but with a downside. With that, the classes who have a lot of damage percentage don't get as much of an increase, and classes who have very low percentage damage get a lot of increase from it, which makes it a kind of a bad way of increasing. It's like you want to give everyone, like you want to make everyone richer, so you give everyone like base groceries, but like some people might not need the groceries and other people do, so you're not helping everyone in the same way, right? But if you just give everyone the same amount of money, they can spend it however they want, and then you would increase it, right? It's like a very standard example. So how that is going to affect us, classes will get jumbled around basically when that happens, right? Because some classes, like Arc right now, is already performing pretty well. By pretty well, I mean like probably top 5 classes, at least like top 7 or something at least. But Arc has a lot of percentage damage. So my expected increased damage because of the final damage change on bosses is over 40%, almost 45% final damage increase. So that's massive. And for mobbing is going to be closer to like 20-25% around there. That plus the HP nerf that's coming for the high level monsters, like level 2, I think 255 plus or 260 plus, like the high level monsters, could make it so that people can suddenly train in way higher level areas and do way more damage bossing. So right now, when you're looking at like the top classes, I would put Demon Slayer in there. I would put Ho Young in there because of the bossing burst. I would put Nightlord in there, and probably Arc, and of course like Kana and Adele. Like those are like all on the top for sure, and those are all just very solid picks across the board, I would say. But who's exactly in what position is a little bit hard to tell, and with those big upcoming changes, that might move things around as well, of course. But like I think the highest level right now in Reboot, I think, is Crane on his Arc and his oh wait, it's the, I think he's almost level 285 now, or like 284. I think he is.
Oh, 284. The max level cap is 300.
Yeah,
right?
300. Yeah. Oh, there's a 284 Kana, 283 Xenon, 282 Demon Slayer. Which I think this guy is also rank 1 dojo at the moment.
The Demon Slayer?
Yeah. There's 282 Marksman. That guy's going hard. 283. Can I filter to Reboot NA? Search. Oh no. Okay, hide filter. Oh, there we go. Wait, where is he? Where's our boy Crane? Did he get banned? Oh no. Wait, did he get banned? Where is he? I don't think so. That guy was just playing all day, every day. Yeah, but we have some 280s, like Nightlords. Nightlords are switching back to Blade Masters, to dual blades. Because the monsters are so strong, it's hard to kill them, and Assassin's Marks just can't do anything at the higher levels, right? Because they're strong enough when it's boosted and everything, and you have Arcane Symbol advantage and all of that. You can train in Limina with them. But then when you move into the level 260 areas, into Cernium, the monsters have so much HP that the Assassin's Mark are just tickling them. Like, you need like 8, 9, 10 Assassin's Mark to kill them or something in the beginning.
Wow. So,
yeah. So at that point, they switch back to Dual Blade because you have those giant big AoEs with short cooldown that hit all the time, and every single one of those skills is still a full map clear, so that's actually a more reliable way of killing quickly.
Okay.
But yeah, that's like 260 plus, right? So that's like like
It's a
265,
long way.
270. Yeah, that's a way away from now. But that does mean that as a Nightlord, you do have the flexibility, and people like Nightlord bossing a lot now. Yeah, if you have good gear, if you have Oz rings, you throw that onto a Nightlord, you can just blow up all the bosses. And even if your damage is kind of shit when you're off burst, it doesn't really matter because, you know, you focus everything around domain and around Conabind, and then you do all your damage, and then you can, yeah, increase that by so much. Wait, does anyone know where Crane went, guys? What happened? He was our #1, and now he doesn't seem to be on the list anymore.
That's unlucky.
It's, yeah, I wonder what happened there.
I have like 2 more questions because I know Reboot really changed a lot in the like 2 years. I remember when I played at least, everyone had a second account of Arcana. Like, everyone used their laptop for Arcana.
Yep.
Now I see not like nobody uses it. Can you tell me why, or they like changed Kana in a way?
Do you know about totems?
Yeah.
So people just typically focus on the 2-hour sessions, use the wild totems, and use that as a training sessions because it's more reliable, it's easier to set up. So they changed Kishin to the base Kishin is just 50% uptime. And because of the level requirement of getting to the higher level areas, because of the 50% uptime and the hassle around there, people have just started only just using the totems basically. The people who still use the Kishin mules on the second computer is like a little bit of help for Legion maybe, if you don't want to, like if you're using up all your totems on the main and you don't want to also use them for your Legion. And some people who really want to like go to 285 and like, you know, go to the crazy levels, they have a high level Kana that could take with them because they train so much more than the totems that there's more value in leveling the Kana instead, because otherwise they're restricted to only quote unquote like 34 hours a month when they're like training 40 hours a week or even more, right? So
yeah, okay.
At that point they still use the Kana mule, but yeah, the Kana mule is increasingly difficult to take to the high level areas because every area has that level restriction before you can enter it. The highest level area now level 270. You know, you can imagine getting a Kana mule to 270 just to Kishin you. That's a low group of people who are doing that. Some people have that, but like, that's probably less than 20 people.
Yeah, for sure.
Or like around there. Yeah, there are ways of getting the Kishin to last longer. That's by proccing the skill Night Ghost Guide, which is basically if you hit a monster and you don't kill it, there's a chance that Night Ghost Guide procs, and if it procs, it extends the duration of Kishin, and including the map spawn buff by a few seconds. And if you make your character strong enough to not die, but weak enough to not kill, and you spam attack for a while, you can increase the duration of Kishin, and then still use that in like instead of totems. So some people do that. There's a few ways of doing that. You could just do it the lazy way, where you just, you know, press one button and you move your character somewhere where you can hit a lot of characters with the Circle of Suppression, right? The passive that hits the monsters around it. Then that can extend the duration a little bit. Usually that gives you about 70% uptime. So that's already quite a bit better than the 50%. You can do a little bit more try-hard where you just like make a macro with the attack and the teleport and you hold that one down for a while. Some people do that before they start training. They just hold that down for like half an hour. And that extends the duration to like an hour already or something, right? Because of all of the procs. And then they start training and they do it a little bit while they're training. And then they kind of do the maths on how long they have to do it. And then the kind of extends it for a session however long they want. And then the most try hard is that people get like a foot pedal that they hold down where they link the macro. And then they just, or like the macro key, right, that they bind to the foot pedal, or they put a keyboard on the ground and then you just hold the key down while they're training kind of thing. So, you know, depending on how hard you want to go, there's some options, but it's definitely not as simple anymore. So that's why you don't see as many people using the Kishin mules anymore.
Oh, okay. What about Kana mules on your main? Like, I know I used to meso farm in Bye Station. I know that got removed.
Yeah, Bye Station is gone, yeah.
And now you, like, I got, if you die, you don't lose XP?
Yep.
Or something? Yeah. So, like, most of people that I see at least now, they level up a Kana mule on their main and meso farm with it in higher levels like Arcana and other places.
Yeah, Lakaline is already pretty good. Lakaline can get really good rates, so people stay there. They tend to, you know, go to low-level burn maps. They tend to like a low-level burn, and they tend to want to get what's it called, like they try to avoid runes if they can. Don't use double experience coupons like that, so that they stay low level for as long as possible. But yeah, eventually you will level. But Lucky Line is already really good, and then Arcana is really good. You can stay in those areas for quite long, and then they typically stay in Arcana all the way up to 255, and then move to Limina. But the added bonuses, of course, is that all the higher level areas also drop droplets now, and past Arcana they also drop monster cards, and that'll help you fund your account as well in a way. So there's added value there, even if the rates go down a little bit. The fact that you still get droplets and you get cards on top of it also adds value.
Okay, yeah. Okay. What about like Kanas in general? I know they're like now still the most wanted class in support.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So
We
having
do
a
have
counter mule, you can just like do lucid and everything. Like you can progress with it really well. I guess it's not that hard.
Yeah, you probably want to have your domain maxed, but if you have that or you're close to that and you know the mechanics of the boss, just because of being a Kana, you already add a lot to the party. Of course, there's a lot of Kanas, so you know if people have Kanas to choose, but some parties will unironically run 3 Kanas and then 3 DPSers, and you just alternate the domain, so domain is always up and you always have binds and barriers everywhere. Yeah, you can scale up the amount of Kanas without much of any downside, so yeah, you won't have any problem getting into bosses and stuff like that.
Okay, sure. I guess we can start with the gear progression to know like what to change, what to go on, and
well, so with all that info, so how do you feel about like what character you want to play? Do you want to still go harder than Nightlord?
Yeah, I still want to play Nightlord because I tried to farm. I had a 2-hour farming session, and I really enjoyed it. I really like
Showdown?
Arcana and
you have to like Showdown a lot.
Yeah, and the extra XP and
yeah, sure.
Droplet from Showdown. That's like 5%, but still 5% is something. And I really like Nightlord bossing like versus Damien. I really like it.
Yeah, because he's in the air a lot, so when he's down, you can really chunk a lot of XP while he's bound.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, sure.
But like Helax, with the revamp Helax, I feel like I really have a difficult time with it because I used to cheese it, so now I can't. So I'm like, I need to jump around and actually try.
Yeah,
and
crazy,
that's
right?
Really, yeah, that's frustrating, but that's fine. I just need to like work on the mechanics versus Helax. Oh, and one more question about the rings. I know, like because of the revamp Helax, you can go for more than 22 stars on Golux rings. I remember back in the day,
20 for 22, yeah, not more than 22. Yeah. People don't really do that because that's really
because they would boom and then
it's 3% chance. So yeah. But I know what you mean. Yeah, because you have backups now. Yeah, that, and we also have Princess No backups. If you do the pre-quest, you don't get the rings anymore or the equips anymore, but every single time you kill Princess No, it can drop the equips again. So for Kana Treasure, you can also get backups.
Okay, so most of your end game rings are like you can go for more than 22 stars.
Yeah, the realistic end game is basically the 4 rings that you have equipped here in the picture. But yeah, reliably at higher stars when you go further.
Fine.
And with Helix, you're also aware of the change of the drop table?
What?
So the belts and the earrings are the ones that drop now, not the earring anymore, not the pendant anymore. So earring and belt are the ones that drop from the boss, and the pendant and the ring are the ones that you buy from the shop. But you already have the pieces. But if you want to rebuy, that's the ones you focus on.
Okay, sure. And what about transposing and mastery rings? Like I have them in the inventory.
Yeah, so the set bonus, if you look at the set bonus for Superior, they changed it. So the pendant cannot count twice anymore in the set bonus for Superior.
Oh, really?
You have to have one of each. So what we do now, and because the drop table changed and because that changed, we keep the superior earrings because, you know, they're easier to get, and then as backups as well because of the drop table. So we use the superior earrings, and then what we do instead is we transpose Dominator Pendant into Sweetwater Pendant and use that one as the second pendant. So we move the transpose from the earring to the pendant instead. So if you haven't transposed yet, that's perfect because you don't want to do that anymore. Like,
fine,
you could still do it. Some people, people who have done it in the past, will use those earrings that are like really strong transpose, high stars, and they will redo the potential for Mesoobtain, so that if you train in Cernium in the high level areas, but you still want to get Mesoobtain, but you still need a lot of damage to be able to kill, then you can still use the value there. But for new characters, it's better like the other way around.
Oh, okay, fine. And about badges, I know the Sengoku ring, you can craft it or something? Like,
no, it was part of an event, and that event hasn't been around for years now, and will probably never come back. So the Ghost Ship Exorcist badge is the best one you can get.
Oh, okay. So yeah, okay, fine.
There is some badge stuff in KMS where you have the weekly badges. So if you have the 7-day Monster Parker medal, you can also get the 7-day Monster Park badge. You can buy it with a bunch of badges and then complete the quest. And then both of them have 10% IED, and if you have both of them equipped, each of them have 10%, and then the set bonus is another 10% IED, but their base stats are way lower. And if you look at that compared to like potential of a Ghost Ship Exorcist badge, it's way better, because that's the only, the Sengoku Hakase and the Ghost Ship Exorcist badge are the only two that can get potential in the game.
Okay, so
yeah, so you're gonna keep this one. Yeah, you're gonna keep this one forever. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Fine.
The main other thing with progression is that arcane gear, when you were playing, was like impossible to get, kind of thing, right?
Yeah,
or like you're lucky.
Everyone really like got annoyed with getting arcane, and everyone who got a weapon like uploaded a video saying, "Oh my god, I got a weapon."
Yeah, exactly. Now arcane is way easier to get. So the things they did is the amount of droplets you need to buy one coin to buy the equips with went down from 10 to 9. The amount of coins you need to buy the weapons stayed the same, but the ones that you need to buy the armors went down. So that's now 12 instead of, I think, 16 it was before. So it's cheaper to buy the armors. The overall drop rate for droplets went up by, I think it almost doubled to what it was before. So you can expect way more droplets when you're training. It also means drop rate gear has good value now. Or even better for that. They also increased the amount of areas that drop droplets. So now like Celas drops, and all of Moonbridge, Labyrinth, Limina, all of those drop droplets as well. There's also Droplet Exchange. So if you have the Lucid droplets, but you want to get the ones from Will, or vice versa, you can just trade them 1-to-1. So you can move them around. So what a lot of people do is if they buy the weapon, they buy the weapon from the Will shop now, if they can, right? So that you basically have the same thing like Damien, where you do the shoulder and the weapon from one shop, and then the 3 pieces from the other shop to kind of balance out how many boss clears you need. But it depends, right? Because there's still a lot of people who kill Lucid for very long before they even start doing Will. And if they want more damage for Will and to do hard Lucid, sometimes they still buy the weapon from the Lucid shop. It's not the end of the world, but it does slow down. Like if there's a long time in between, you'll probably still have enough drops to buy the weapon and the 3 pieces from the Lucid shop before you have enough to just buy the shoulder from Will. It kind of depends on how quickly you're doing the 2 bosses. And then the other thing they added is they also increased the drop rate of the arcane weapons and armors from the bosses, and they added more bosses that can drop them. So like the Tenebra's bosses have way more value now. Gloom, Hard Gloom and Chaos Darknell, or Chaos Gloom and Hard Darknell, the other way around. They have the same drop table as Hard Will when it comes to arcane stuff, and Varus Hilla has the same drop table as and the Black Mage also, but you know at that point you probably don't need the arcane drops anymore. They have the same drop table as Hard Lucid. So all of that combined has made... and on top of that also, there are way more event shops where you can buy a lot of droplets. The upcoming...
Oh, you can buy droplets right now.
Yeah, well, not right now, but the
not right now, yeah. Like...
In the... so last one, we could buy up to 200 droplets. And the upcoming event... the winter event will have up to 100 droplets for event currency and up to 800 droplets in total that we can buy. So that's more than the whole set, basically.
Oh,
And
that's
right
yeah.
now in KMS in Reboot they have made it permanently available. So just like the Genesis and the Leafer Shop just have droplets for 50 mil each in it that you can buy at all times. So from
Wow.
2 years ago
So,
to like 6 months from now, there's like Arcane is completely impossible to everyone's gonna have Arcanes.
yeah,
Yeah, so
that's
that's
a
a
huge, yeah.
yeah. So like when you're thinking about the gear progression, I think that's important information to give to you how that is gonna shape what you aim for in a very big way. Because if you're tyrants now, and you did get the Absolab shoulder, but if we can get you to the point where you're strong enough to do hard loosen and hard will, you could technically just completely skip Abzo and just start working directly on just making money and being strong enough, and then throwing all that money at Arcanes this winter event and
That
just
sounds like
use all the droplets, buy all the pieces, go straight into 17 Arcane, and upgrade those, get good flames, get good potentials, and then you'll just be full 5-set Arcane. And then maybe by then you can also rebuy the weapon, right?
yeah, by
'Cause
the yeah.
yeah, to have a real one. Not that this one is bad, right? This one is
Yeah,
because
it's like 35% boss, 12 damage, 12 critical rate. It's
yeah.
fine.
Yeah, it's fine, exactly. But if you can roll a bunch of percent attack on it, that would be really, really
Yeah,
nice. So
that's
we do want to get to that eventually. But I guess the last thing you're probably wondering about is the heart, right? Because you
the
don't have
heart
one.
and the totems. Like,
Yeah.
I remember back in the day, before October it was like everyone was skeptical because the Sengoku wasn't back and the One Droid wasn't back in a long time. So
Yeah.
a lot of people was skeptical about the totems if they were gonna
Mm-hmm.
come back even.
Yeah,
And
Dark
then I
Lords. Yeah.
remember, yeah. And then I remember when I quit because of school, Dark Lords came back, but I didn't have time to sit and grind for it.
Yeah, yeah.
And is it still like does it come back like every time or?
No, so we had so 2 years ago in October we didn't get it, and then everyone complained, and then they still gave it to us in February. So of February of 2020, we got it, and then October of 2020 we didn't get it again, and now it's almost October, but there doesn't seem to be anything that we're getting it, so people need to complain more to get it, I think, because people aren't people are complaining, but not about the right thing. So we need to complain about Dark Lords coming back, because other than that, people are just doing the Afterlands, which are okay totems, and they're just using those as an okay set bonus. It has some damage, so you can settle for those to just have something in the slots. Afterlands is like separate content that can be a little bit puzzly, so there's a you can use Afterlands hang on, in the chat.
And what about
the
like old totems? The Far West totems, did that get removed or
still, the U Garden ones?
Yeah, the U Garden.
Those ones still exist, but those are temporary ones, right? So you have to every month get new ones.
I got a couple of in my inventory, so I can just exchange them.
Well, the hardest part is the 3 set, right? To get the third one, that one's pretty rare.
The third one,
the incense burner. So that's usually what deters people from doing that long term. Like they'll do that in the beginning, and maybe if they have the 1 and the 2, they'll keep using those. But then after a while, it's like, so either they do Afterlands just to have something, or you just kind of give up and hope for Dark Lords. Those are like the two paths, I guess.
Yeah, the 2 paths. I know Familiar changed a lot.
Yeah. So, well, to get back to the heart, like One Droid has come back twice. So that seems to be pretty much a yearly thing, like around February, March. So we're hoping next February, March it'll be back again. They always try to do something with it to like nerf it a little bit, and then everyone gets upset, and then they they put it back. They seem to want to nerf it every time and hope that we don't notice, but everyone notices and gets mad, and then they're like, okay, and then they make it normal again. But yeah, that's still the best heart you can get. But there are event shops with fairy hearts as well, which are very similar. It's basically the same hearts, like a little bit weaker, but it's the same potential tier. So.
So
it's also permanent.
Not temporary though.
No, yeah. So if you can get a fairy heart and you can buy that from an event shop, that's like comparable. So then you don't have to wait around for One Droid and always be like, oh, what if I quit and then next month One Droid comes out, so I have to keep playing. Sure. Yeah. So that's like those are the 2 big options when it comes to hearts. Familiars, yeah. Familiars changed a lot. I do have familiar guide as well. Basically, if you're working on Legion a lot, you'll get cards just from killing monsters, right? And then you can throw all those familiar cards. You can transfer them through storage. You can throw them on your main, and then you can just reveal them there. And then depending on the stage of the game, you might be looking for different things. Do you have any familiars at all right now, or just nothing?
No, nothing. I didn't want to start it. Like, I wanted to see a video about it and see what I can do, but prefer to wait on your opinion. Like, I didn't know you had a video on familiar, so I'm gonna check it out after the.
Yeah, it's not a video, but it's like a text file with like all the information,
okay.
And then on the bottom I have like all the advice with some extra links. So I have a link for what are the easiest badges to get, so you can get more familiars available. What are all the possible outcomes in the different tiers, so that you know which tier you're looking for what potential in. And what's the third one? Hang on, well, let me just check the guide, I guess. I'll just cheat on my own command, see what's in there. There's something else in there. Oh yeah, and how everything stacks with drop rate and meso-obtain and stuff, because that's a little bit confusing for people.
That was my question. Like, there's still like the big spider. There's a drop familiar still.
Yeah, so you have the old. Which old familiars do you still have? Do you have the spider?
If I open it, maybe.
It says 8 familiars collected.
Familiars. Yeah, I have the old spider. I have the and the mutant snail.
Yeah, mutant snail. Yes. Okay. So those are still really good.
Yeah. And there's like a bit of the other familiars that aren't that like Beowulf and all, like not something that important.
Yeah. So now if you have a familiar, you go into collection.
And
then you look at the familiar. Then you can see on the right side when you select the familiar, on the left side, sorry, you can see what potential they have. If it has a question mark, you can click it and it'll reveal their potential. So that's how you kind of see what a familiar has. But every familiar, what familiar potential they have is going to depend purely on their border, like on the rarity. So if it's a common one, and then you can check the list in the guide, right? You can check like common gets all these, can get one of these things. Rare can get one of these things. Epic, unique, and so on. So basically, you're just mass opening. It's not like the spider anymore, where like if you take a spider, it always has this line. It's just if it's a rare, it can have one of these lines. So it's more like item potential now than it is like the old potential system. But if you have the spider is great, because if you look at the guide and you look at the drop rate and how all of it stacks, the spider is basically the second highest drop rate boost you can get into the entire game. The only better one would be increase drop rate by a large amount. That's like the old wolf familiar that we didn't have but non-reboot had. So that is possible for us to get on epic and unique familiars. So later, if you're training in areas where a lot of familiars drop, then you can start ranking up familiars. The guide goes into this as well, but if you want to level up familiars, you need a lot of the same card and you need to fuse them together. So if you're in the familiar UI and in the collection and you go to fusion, that's where you can like select a familiar, and then on the right side it'll show you which other familiars you have that you can fuse with it.
I see it.
And then the bar on below with the little diamond will fill up, and if it's all the way filled up, you also have to level up the familiar card itself, and you do that by summoning the familiar under setup and selecting it, and then killing monsters near your level when you have them summoned. And then when you kill monsters, it'll gain experience, and when it's max level and max fusion, then you can go back to the fusion where it is, and then you can click rank up here. But yeah, only if it's completely filled.
Yeah, okay. And what about like, does it still, like if you put 3 familiars together in the setup, does it stay longer like before?
Yeah. So that's why it's important to look at the familiar badges and to add the familiar badges. If you get 1 badge, you can unlock the 2nd slot, and if you want to unlock the 3rd slot, you need 10 badges. So the first one is very easy, very quick, but the 3rd one is quite tricky. There's some easy badges, but you need to be a high level because it's just the monsters near your level, so it's very simple. But you might need to be high level to get it, so like easy, but not really. Other badges are obtainable, but might have like one monster that's like a boss or a certain monster that just doesn't drop. And some sets look easy, but some of the monsters are either not in the game anymore or the monster just doesn't drop the card at all. People have tried for like months and it just doesn't drop. So that's why I have the badge tier list to be like, okay, if you follow the badge tier list and you just go by these in order that they're mentioned here, then you can get to the 10 very quickly. Like the top 7 are very easy to get, and then the other ones are basically based on level. If you want to brute force, you can go for the A and the B tier ones. But if you just go for leveling as well, you can just wait until you can do the A tier ones. You can already do some of those, I think, right? You can do the Morass one. You're pretty close to the Sphera one. Yeah. So then you're already at 9 or at 8, right? So then, yeah, either at 240 or 245, you can get the last 2 done, and then boom, you have your 10. Yeah. So the more defense your familiars have, the slower the summon gauge goes down. So if you level up a card and you check in collection and you click on the in setup. And you check is it in collection? Info? Oh, yeah, collection and then info. Then you can see on the bottom of the card there's attack and defense. Yeah, and that defense goes up as you level up. It's a random amount, but the higher the rarity of the card, the more defense you will gain. Let me check if I have... like, this is an epic. This one has 5 defense. I think I have some leveled up uniques that have like... Yeah, this one has 10, for example. So the more total defense, the slower the gauge goes down. So if you don't have something useful, you can always put a card with high defense to make sure that the familiar gauge doesn't go down as much.
Okay, fine.
So now you can see it as a buff here on the top right. And it starts with 2,000 and then it goes down in chunks, basically.
Yeah, okay. Thanks for that. Like, the familiar system was like, for me, when
it's very different.
Came back, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so the advice I have typically is in the beginning, all of the familiar cards, everything from your Legion, throw it all on your main. Look for healing, drop rate, and IED %. Drop rate mainly from the rare cards, but you won't need to look for that because you already have the spider. That's already going to be better, right? So the spider is 60%. Or is it? Increase item and meso drop rate by a large amount, this one. So that's plus 60%. That's the one you have. So the only thing better, you see, right, 60%, the only thing better, because it doesn't stack with other similar sources, it only gets replaced if the other source is higher. So you see the only thing higher, possibly, is 100% here. Yeah, so and that's epic or unique. So until you get to making epics and uniques, you don't have to worry about drop rate at all. The only thing that will be useful for you is healing, but you already have the snail, so it would either be like a secondary healer or be like the same level of healing, and that will be helpful for Will and Varus Hill and bosses like that.
Okay.
And then if you don't have any IED, you probably don't have that. That can be very useful early on, except I think you already have the superior set bonus, and you have the 40% on the emblem, right?
I have 40%, and I don't have the 4th set. I'm using the reinforced and the superior.
Mm-hmm. Are you not using... Wait, you're using superior earring, right? And a pendant?
Yeah. No, I'm using a reinforced earring right now.
Ah, okay.
I can switch it. Like for bossing, I'm using the superior.
Right.
Because like I lose like 36,000 damage if I use the superior.
Yeah.
I use it only for farming because my reinforced has Mesoptane. And 18%. So,
right, yeah. Makes perfect sense, yeah. Yeah, that's perfectly
tyrants, fine. And one more. Tyrants are useless, I guess. Like, they're not... I guess they're mid-game, if I can say it. Because I remember when I played Tyrants, were not that... Like, most of people try to get Ebzo capes and everything, and Tyrants were...
Yeah, well, that's because the Star Force went from 15 to 25, right? That made it able to go way higher, yeah. People still use them as transition gear, like especially the cape, right? The cape is still really good until you can get to Ebzo stuff. You have 3 stars on them, so that gives you a lot of stat, and the base stars are really good as well. I'm pretty sure if you replace these with 17-star Ebzo, it's actually going to be a downgrade. It's only going to be an upgrade if you get all of the Ebzo pieces, just because you get the set bonus, but you're going to have to switch into the hat as well because you have the arcane weapon. So it's going to be a huge hassle. So I think what we can do is just build around what you already have and kind of just completely forget about Abzo. You got the shoulder, like that's fine. But I think you could just forget about getting into Abzo if you want to do.
What about the gloves? Because I know
Mhm.
gloves are really important for the crit damage.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. We can see how necessary that's going to be. Let's see. Where are your gloves? What are you currently using? Like Cygnus gloves or?
No,
Oh,
some
Tsukuyomi.
Tsukuyomi.
That's fine. It's still because you could transfer hammer them into the Abzo, right?
Yeah,
So you don't.
transfer hammer
So you
them,
don't really lose any. We can check with everything. Do you have Can you take a screenshot of your stat window, like when you're?
Yeah, stat window. Oh, it's not.
Oh no, it's here. It's here. I see. I see.
Yeah, it's.
But this is unbuffed, right?
Yeah, I can screenshot right now. Buffed. With all the buffs, or just
with like 100% uptime. Like so.
100% uptime. Yeah, sure. I'm gonna screenshot right now.
Let's with these links.
Yeah, okay. I'm gonna just edit it a bit, so it's not gonna be like all my Maple stats, so I can focus about it.
Giant screenshot.
Yeah.
Do you have any hyperstats in? You don't have any in arcane power. Do you have any in experience?
I didn't screen. Oh, I didn't. It's all my hyperstats right there.
Yeah, because it's Scroll down, but I don't think you have any, right? Because you have 40 already.
Yeah, I'm gonna check right now. I'm just gonna save my screenshot and send it.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, yeah, I'm sending it on Discord right now. That's all like 100% uptime. That's fully buffed.
Okay.
Almost 22k stat.
And that's with the drop earring, right?
Yeah, with the drop earring. Yeah.
So then it goes to 85 with the.
I can get like with my main earring, it's like 22 and a half, yeah, 22 and a half. No, yeah, almost 22 and a half. 22,300, yeah.
Yeah. The hyperstat if you're using experience.
Oh yeah, the hyperstat, that's true.
What was the question?
No, I'm not using the no bonus XP, no arcane force.
Yep.
What I screenshotted, it's like all my
Yep, that's all the. Okay, cool. It just fits right in the.
Yeah.
Luck and attack really power.
Lucky, yeah. Like probably in double XP and other stuff. Like if there are events, I remember I would just reset my hyperstats and put everything in bonus XP and arcane force and the other. Yeah. So, well, that's my main hyperstats.
Mm-hmm. Wait, so your crit rate goes to 100% right now?
Yeah, with decent sharp eyes, because it's for me it's like 100% uptime.
Wait, is there something else that gives you 20%? Because the other screenshot you had 71.
71. I'm gonna check. Maybe it's because.
Is it different Legion setup or different link skill?
No. Maybe the probably because I didn't transfer link skills. No, it's transferred. Oh, so
in this picture for the link skills, you do have the Phantom and the Beast Tamer on there.
No, I have it. I don't know why. I have 90% right now. I'm not sure why. Let me check quick.
Yep. Do you have the extra 10% from the current event? From the goo battle?
I'm not sure. I'm checking why I have like 90%. Maybe.
You didn't put hyper
Oh
stats,
no,
right?
no. Yeah. Sorry. It's because I took the screenshot of my stats right before I put my link skills, so it's not updated.
That's what I thought.
Sorry
Yeah.
about that.
So okay, but your current one is with the same link skills as in the screenshot?
Yeah. What I sent you right now, it's my current stats. What I sent you right now on Discord.
Yeah. Okay. All right. That's good. Your crit, yeah. So the main thing is going to be so when it comes to your equips itself, we can get into that in a little bit. The main picture I want to have clear is make sure that you have enough ID so that when you're bossing, you can do enough damage to the boss. And when you have and your crit rate, to make sure that that's always at 100%. And basically for both of those stats to kind of see the path from now to the next step to where you finally want to be, to make sure that you always stay for IED like in an effective rate, right, where it gives you enough to apply your damage but not too much where it hurts your damage. And for crit rate, to always make sure that you get to 100%, but try to be at exactly 100% so that you can optimize the other stats around it. So the main things for that is going to be like the Legion and the Grid, the skill node, the link skill, sorry, and then the Matrix a little bit as well, but you know, it's just chalk pies basically. And your hyper stats, right? Like those three things and a little bit the Matrix are going to have to puzzle together properly to form like the optimal combination. And when that whole puzzle is like clear and the progression in that is very clear to you on how you have to treat all of those stats, then your equips are like the final finishing touch to capitalize basically on that foundation. You want that foundation to be solid, and then you can build on that with getting good gear on there. Because if your ID is bad or your crit rate is bad, you can get really good equips, but it's going to be very inefficient, right? Because you're not going to be able to make good use of them. So I want to make sure that everything else is settled first, and then we'll go into equips to like finish off the whole picture basically.
Yeah, okay.
So when it comes to the main basis for that is Legion, right? Especially if you want to maybe do more things on Akana, or if you want to, you know, do more things on the Demon Slayer, maybe like have it as a bossing mule because it's probably pretty strong.
It's like
211, yeah. And maybe if you want to, you know, try Ho Young out and see how that one is, the stronger your Legion is and your link skills are, the more those characters will be able to shine and really show you what they can do. So that's something that we want to build on. And then the main thing also is that when it comes to critical damage, critical rate, IED, and boss damage, most of that in the game is going to come from your Legion grid and from your members and from the link skills. That's where all of that basically comes from. The only exception is like there can be some critical damage that can come from the gloves, right? Boss damage and IED can come from the weapon, secondary, and emblem, but that's it. All the other stuff, the critical rate, the IED, the boss, like you don't want it to come from your equips furthermore. You want all of that to come from your Legion and Link, so your equips can go damage. Yeah. So when it comes to your setup in Legion right now, what you have, are you fully ranked up to the highest rank you can be with the current level? Are you at 3.5?
Yeah. I need I think, let me check. I'm pretty sure I need like 4K to rank up. Yeah. I just want to make sure. Yeah. So what you have is like quite a lot of you have like spillover. You basically have more characters that are good than room to put them in, right? Because at this point, what you want... I have like high-level characters,
Yeah, exactly. So what you kind of want is you want to build out at least a 4K. 4K is really good, right? Because every extra 1,000 gives you more Legion space. So like from an efficiency standpoint, the easiest way for you to grow your Legion is to make a new character, make it level 60, and then just make a new one. And just shit out level 60.
Not 140?
You can eventually get them to 140, but if you first get them to 60, it's very fast, right? Very, very easy. And you have 17 more characters, right? You can go up to 40 characters, count for your Legion. So you can have 17 more level 60s. That takes almost no time. But 17 times those 6 levels is 1,020 levels. So you'll be at 4.6k almost. Just for making those shitter characters. And then if you level them up to like level 100 or something, you're at 5k, and then if you get them all to 140, you're at 6k.
Okay.
And if you do it like low-level characters first, they take almost no time, but they give you the 4K Legion board. That gives you extra characters on the board. That allows you to put your characters into places where they buff your account way more. And that will allow you to level the characters faster to level 100, which gives you the 5K. And that will make you stronger and will level them faster and get them to 140, right?
So it's like a loop.
Like a loop. All to 60, go back. All to 100, go back. All to 140, go back. Kind of like that.
Okay, yeah.
Because the best part is, once you get them all to 100, all you have to do is just log in, kill Zakum, log out, log in, kill Zakum, log out. And with almost no time in a day, you'll just see your Legion level just go up.
Yeah.
And 6k will happen in no time because you already have quite a lot of characters above 140. So you don't even have to make like all of the characters to 140 to hit the 6k. There's probably like 5, 6, 7 characters that you can just leave at 100 and you'll already be at 6k.
Yeah, because I have like Akana almost 200 and...
Jet, Demon Slayer,
Yeah.
And the Kinesis is up there, and then you have a few 150s from old burning events, so all of those add together. So when you get to 4K, so for the build up for the Legion board, I wouldn't. The bonus experience field is kind of a trap. It's nice to get more experience, but it's very inefficient, right? You see how much you filled the bonus experience? If you look on the grid bonus, that gives you 3.25% bonus. This is an additive amount. This is not multiplicative on the base, but like an additive on top of all the percentages already. So what's more valuable is like looking for experience coupons and events if they're available. But when it comes to the grid, what's more efficient, and typically for lower level characters, they start with very low crit. But critical damage is like the best damage they can get. But if they have low crit, they don't have access to their critical damage. So for your Legion setup, it'd be best to try to max out the crit rate and max out the crit damage and just connecting those two. And then, you put whatever stats in the middle, and then you can change which stats are applied to the middle grids, right?
I can.
Yeah, because you have intellect and attack together right now that has pieces in it, which is.
I used to level Abyss Timer. So yeah.
But then you want to switch the attack to magic attack, right? That way, so if you just make like a connection through the middle, you can use the mage pieces, the archer pieces, and connect the crit rate and crit damage and max those out first. And if you hit 4K, make sure that those are again maxed out first. And then throw whatever else you have in the middle. You go into bonus experience, basically, if you go from 6K to 8K. Like then you can throw into bonus experience, because then everything is 140. They probably don't need that much crit rate anymore because they have their own skills that give crit rate. You just want to max out crit damage and then bonus experience and then throw the rest in the stats in the middle. And that's when you push all the characters from 140 to 200 and push from 6K to 8K Legion.
Okay.
That's if you want to do that. Then it's very efficient because then they don't need that base stat. Because the crit rate is just super important, right? If you get to hit a crit and you get to hit the crit damage, then you kill so much faster. That will give you more experience, how much faster you kill, than giving you 3% extra experience on the kills that you can already do. If a character is super, super strong, already has 100% crit, then you can put it in bonus experience, but that'll be rare. On average, they will just have shitty crit early on, and they can, the crit helps them way more to train faster. So combination of that plus putting all the link skills on the character. I wouldn't do it for level 60, right? Because it's super fast. But maybe if you're pushing from 60 to 100 or from 100 to 140, then you also switch your links around. There's also a change coming with link skills. I don't know how long that's going to take, but you'll be able to move your links around more than twice a day. I think up to 4 times a day, and you can do even more than 4, but then you'd have to spend extra meso, but you can do it up to 10 times a day. So you'll basically have pretty much free moving around of link skills. We'll make bossing on multiple characters and working on Legion. Then it won't be a factor of like, oh, did I already change once today, or do I have to change before reset so I can play 3 characters tomorrow? Right, so you don't have to worry about all of that anymore.
I remember when it was like 1 time a day.
Yeah, you really had to plan ahead, like, what do I do today? What am I going to do tomorrow? It was tricky. It was tricky. That's probably still like 3 to 4 months out though, I think, but it's good to know that that's coming, so that's going to be extra value. And it also makes it so that you don't have to worry about getting some characters 3 or 4 times to make sure that you can play it on all your characters, right?
Yeah. That's
So I would just do one of each, and then you have the freedom. Pathfinder open job advancement is also somewhere on the way. So if you haven't made the archers yet, you can also just make a bunch of Pathfinders, and then just sit on them until the change comes, and then switch one to marksman, one to bowmaster, and boom.
Oh wow, okay.
Because
That's
Pathfinder is
good
way
to
easier
know,
to
yeah.
train, right?
Yeah. I
Just
didn't
hold
try
down
it.
macro. Yeah, you basically just make a macro with the main skills, and you just hold it down, and everything dies, basically.
Okay.
So it's super
That's
simple,
cool.
and it's very strong early on, so it's easy to level. It's like free Legion levels this early, and you do eventually want to get the marksman because of the critical rate in the Legion member bonus.
Yeah.
So, but it's not super necessary because you are at 100%. You have not put hyperstats yet into critical rate, so that's still a very cheap way of getting some extra critical rate. And I don't know what your grid looks like for your Nightlord. Is it into critical rate, critical damage, and then into
For
boss
my
damage?
Nightlord, it's critical damage and boss damage.
Yeah.
I can put in in ignore defense or in ID. I can put it in ID if I need.
Yeah.
Because my ID is a bit low from like.
Yes.
I don't know if 88 is fine for bossing because I remember when I wanted to go for Civ for Chaos Velum, I needed at least 93%.
Yeah, that's kind of like the number that we always had floating around. So our understanding and everything, and the numbers, the margins have changed a little bit. So I will relay to the old one and then explain how it's changed and everything.
Okay.
There's one more thing I wanted to open up. Well, so in general for the characters, if you still want to make a bunch of the characters, I have this command here under !! links. This takes the link skill, which is the the white number, and then the member bonus, which is the green number, and that combines them into what is the value that a character has for your overall account, basically. So this is like the general order that I think it's valuable to make the characters and to build them for your Legion, in the sense that it will help your other characters level faster as well. So you can kind of like snowball the whole value. So if you're looking for what character to make next, just start from the top, and until you find a character that you don't have yet, make that one and then move on. You probably didn't play when 0 was available.
Yeah, I didn't play when 0 was available.
0 is available on Reboot, not right now, but like in general, we can get it. Yeah, they are working on making 0 permanently available in KMS right now, but yeah, that's still far away for us.
Yeah, far away.
But it should be available in winter.
KMS is still like about 6 months, a year ahead of us.
So for anniversary stuff and like Pink Bean events and all that stuff, they're typically 1 year ahead, because we just get the previous anniversary, they just copy it over, and that's 1 year delay. And like Christmas stuff and stuff like that, we're 1 year behind. For the summer and the winter event, we're just 6 months behind. Like we get the current summer event for KMS is our next winter event. Next winter event is going to be our next summer event, etc. Because that's the easy. For all the stuff outside of that, we're around 4.5 months behind. We've caught up a little bit. We're not on the standard 6 months anymore. It's like 4.5 months. And for some stuff, we're even a little bit closer. And some stuff we've gotten like already like 3 months after KMS. They've started trying to see some systems and introduce them a little bit faster. Things that are not connected to the version of the game, but are just small fixes that they can add. Like the Droplet Exchange, for example. I think that was actually projected to be in this update right now that we just got. But we already got that like a while ago. They were able to implement that earlier. But some of the skill changes, we were already overdue for some, but there's also other on the way. Sometimes they cluster them. So sometimes they'll wait a little bit longer, and then they'll take like 2 big balance patches and just throw them together and throw them out in one go. So it depends on when KMS releases things sometimes. Like if they have a big patch 4 months away and 6 months away, they might wait like 5.5 months or something and then put both of them together and then do them in one go. So yeah, it's not always 100% predictable. Like, okay, we're getting this update. That means in 183 days this is coming. Like we can't really say that, but like general estimate basically. But yeah, I always go
Oh,
over the KMS changes and make some kind of prediction, I hope, as to when we will get it. There's some new KMS stuff that came out very recently. The 64-bit client just went live in Korea. Finally, 64-bit.
yeah.
A mere,
I
8
wanted-
years after Windows 10 came out? Or maybe even longer. When did Windows 10 come out? Windows 10 release. 6 years. Okay, never mind. It's not that late. 2015. Yeah. So only 6 years behind the global standard of 64-bit. So, but that is for KMS at least. It looks very promising. So we're hoping that for GMS it has good effects as well. Well, both of us are still probably on pretty shitty ping and NA. So how good that's going to be for us is left to be seen. But hopefully it makes the game more stable. Hopefully. So yeah, I do try to go over that. I do like the reviews on all the stuff that comes out in KMS, and I throw that on YouTube as well. So a lot of people, try to keep everyone up to speed on the things that are coming. And then the other thing that I wanted to show is the progression grid. I've recently updated this because of the level 300 cap, of course, and the extra content that is released over level 260 and 270. So here you can see like the numbers that you want to aim for in the different stages of the game. And these are like all the important metrics that basically decide is your character strong or not, right?
Yeah, okay.
So basically if you hit all the metrics roughly like, in where your level is, then you can use your level as a placeholder. Because in the past people like use their range. Range is not really like it's a really bad number at this point to look at. Because range doesn't encompass all of the important stuff that makes your damage go up anymore. So that's not really a good range. People use stat. Stat is a better approximation, but the lower you are, the worse of a predictor it is. Because if your stat is really low, but you have all the other numbers very high, you can easily outdamage someone who has like double your stat but has low numbers here.
Yeah.
So, if you follow under all the categories, you can use your level as an indicator. And then once your level becomes representative for how strong you are, then you can go to the dailies command, and then you can use your level. Here you can see like what you would want to kill monsters for, what the value is for clearing it. And if you go by level, you can see like what is based on your level, what is good content to want to aim towards doing, and what can you start trying. And then based on that, you can see like level, what are you, level 232? And then you see like all the things that are highlighted in blue that I think are worth doing. If one of these things you try and is like, oh, it's super easy, that's cool. Maybe your kit is very well adapted to that content. If you try something else and it's super hard, then you need to check like, okay, what am I missing out on, right? Then you can go back to the progression grid. Like, what is one of the numbers that's maybe a little bit higher in the progression grid than what I have? And that's probably the next thing to work on.
Okay, sure.
So that's how that's all like interconnected. Just wanted to make sure that you were aware of these three things mainly, because right now we can go in depth like, okay, number one character you need to do is the kinesis, number two is you're right, but that's a little bit too much like min-maxing, a little bit too micromanagey. So if you're aware of these commands and you're understand how they work and why they work in the way that they do, then we can use that, and then you can always just look back to that and immediately see what I would be saying, because I would just follow what that says anyway.
Yeah, okay. I got like one more question about the gear. Like I know CPEP is something as a thing. I remember when I played, it was like a remember CPEP like
it was way different boss before.
It was like pre-Big Bang.
Dude,
boss.
with Dispel.
Yeah.
That was the worst mechanic in the game, dude. People think DR is bad. Dispel was AIDS.
Yeah, Dispel was so.
You would just spam it. Sometimes you Dispel like 3 times in a row while you were rebuffing. If you were a mage and your magic guard got knocked off, you like magic guard, Dispel again, magic guard.
And you just got Dispel.
And the bombs did so much damage if they.
Yeah, CPEP was like was cancer back in the day.
Yeah.
So now
Oh, now
I
he's
guess like
now he's still cancer though.
oh yeah, he's still
Yeah,
like
people don't like him at all. No, no. There's like giant clocks everywhere. Everything one-shots you. He pushes you around, seals you. He can fully regen his health if you don't play right. Yeah, there's a whole bunch of... but, you know, best in slot secondary and a really good crystal if you can kill him. But yeah, he doesn't go down easily.
So about like the mark, is it better? Like it's the best placeholder. It's like is the best.
Yeah. So generally, it's an item that you hope to get, and you take into account if you get it, what you do with it, but you don't aim for it. Like you kind of play the game as if you're never gonna get him.
It's like so it's like arcane drops back in the day. You just
Yes.
play and hope to get it.
You basically just work on your Sweetwater monocle.
Yeah, okay.
And most people even go for like 21 stars or so monocle. If you, of course, if you get a pet mark before then you can like, okay, maybe I'll redo the monocle for drop rate or something, and then work on the Papulatus, like while I work on a Papulatus mark, if I transpose it into the monocle and then roll that one for damage, then the other one can go for drop rate maybe, or you know, just goes into the account for maybe sometime later. But it's like an exception. Some people get it very early, but most people, when they get it, it's already very late. Or some people even get like the eye patch from Hardamian first before they even see a Papulatus mark.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so it's not something to count on, but it's something to keep in mind. So yeah, you might keep the monocle a little bit lower, you might focus on the tattoo a little bit more, but like with the pendant and the tattoo and needing backups, you're already going to lose a lot of dineros on that. So, you know, it might be fine to not go too hard on your monocle if you really want to hold out. But if you have the dineros, you might as well upgrade your monocle.
Yeah. So what about like right now?
Here, I also have a video for CPAP where I explain the mechanics and where to stand and everything. Hopefully that will...
okay. I'm gonna watch it later. I have like all the tabs that
yeah.
need for later, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
So for now, until we get to the gear, so it's to get my Legion to at least 6 or 4K, like 4K is not that hard, but
4K will be
6K
easy. 5K will be
yeah.
pretty easy as well. 6, I think, is a good goal to get to. Yeah, 6 was used to be like a pretty specific goal for like hitting 250, hitting 6K. But because we have 300 levels now, and I still wanted to keep it 4 game stages and not have like 16 different game stages, I had to like clump it up in a way that made more sense for the content, which means that for the Legion numbers, it doesn't like neatly, because you want to be above 6K Legion when you get to 270. You don't need to be 8K yet, but you want to be like at least at 7K and working on 8K at that point. So the 6K is usually somewhere around like 250, 255. You want to hit that 6K Legion basically.
Okay. And my link skills are like, I guess I need to work on them a bit, because I know they changed, because like I know when I
the Explorer ones, right? They didn't exist back then.
Yeah, the Explorer ones, and
yeah. So what's changing soon? I don't know if you take this one. Do you ever use the Mihai link skill for the knockback resistance?
No, I don't use it. Okay.
For something like, because you don't get knockback resistance, right? But you just jump around a lot and you dodge a lot, so you don't really... For things like CPAP, you probably want to get it. Maybe not. You can try without first. But like CPAP, because those clocks can one-shot you and stuff, he could just bump you into them, and then you can die to some really dumb shit, so it could be really annoying. But yeah, if you dodge a lot, then it might not happen, so you'll have to look at that. But the Mihai Link skill for other characters might be very useful, so you don't get knocked around. That one is getting extended in duration soon, so you will only need to get a level 2 to have 100% uptime very easily, so you don't have to worry about the level 3 there. When it comes to the Explorer, so you have the Thief one, right? You already have the other 2 and stacked into your Nightlord, so that one's already maxed out. And all the Explorer ones...
6 is max?
Yeah, 6 is max, yeah. So you have to have one of each of the kind of the champions or of the characters, and they can like link onto one character. So if you have like 2 chief bandits, you can link both of those to do different characters, but not to the same character to stack them. And you can't link another chief bandit into a same chief bandit, for example. Like that doesn't work either. So they have to be separate ones. So that's why I was saying, like with the Pathfinders, you know, that crit rate can be useful for lower level characters to stack the Explorer Archer link. But it's mostly later. If you want to play one of the archers, you can stack them all into the archer. And if you have 3 Pathfinders, you can just use the levels now, and then later you can job switch and then also use the link skill if you want to.
Yeah, okay, fine.
The one that really came into play, the Thief's Cunning one, is like borderline top 12 for most people. It's like on the edge. For you, of course, it's in the top 13 because you get it. The other one is the Explorer Mage one, is really good. If you stack all 3, and you can see that in the links as well, you'll see the mages are right here, right? So they're not like up top, but they are in the list. Because if you stack the 3 mages, you will get a debuff on the boss, and if you know, at level 6, it'll get 3 stacks, and every stack gives you 3% damage and 3% IED. So that's 9 damage, 9 IED. So that's like better than the Kana treasure, sorry, the elementalism, the Kana link skill. If it's stacked, and it'll be stacked all the time, right? Because you're hitting so much, and you got the assassin's marks flying around, so you'll always have it debuffed.
Okay, good to know. So fine.
And for other characters also, they need it because some characters don't have debuffs by themselves, so they can't use the Thief's Cunning because that triggers off of a debuff monster. So they need the Explorer Mage to trigger the Thief's Cunning if they want to use both of them.
Yeah. Okay.
And the Cadena as well, the Unfair Advantage. You also need debuffed. So some characters couldn't use those links, and now with the Explorer Mage, they can use the 3 of them together for a nice synergy.
Yeah, that's a nice. What about because of my ID? That's like, so for now, link skills that are level that I can get them to level 3, like Luminous and all that. Should I try to get it, or should I just go for, like you said, level 60 characters and get 6k Legion, 5k Legion for now?
Yeah, for short term, I would do if you're working on Legion, you'll get the cards, throw all the cards to your main, and look for 15% IEDs on familiar cards. It's pretty but like it's easy to get, but like you need to open a bunch of cards. You'll probably need to open about 200 cards, I think, if you want to get 15% IED familiars, like around there. So it's not like insanely difficult, but it does take some work, right?
Yeah, okay.
But then 215 IEDs there, and probably redoing the hyperstats a little bit, take out of attack and go into IED there instead. That'll be better for your overall damage.
Yeah, okay, sure.
Well, making sure that you have the superior set on, right? And you have the 40 IED and the emblem. That's a really big boost already. Because we can check !IED. You probably want to start working on the Monster Parker, 7-day Monster Parker medal. That's a good one to work on.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Make sure you do that on the Nightlord until you have the 77 clears every day, right? Then you get the extra 10% IED from that. Familiars. So link-wise, IED is mostly important for bosses, right? So I would work on the Explorer Mages and try and get those all to 120. Maybe not like highest priority, but like as soon as you do get them, maybe get those to 70, right? So you can already get the level 3 going. Yeah, that's already some extra IED. So we talked about the hyperstats. And then the Legion Grid. I would move the Legion Grid into IED as well, yeah. Especially when you hit 4K, because then you can make a field of 6, 7, 8 of 21%. And that's when your Legion is going to really start kicking in to help you get that damage. You basically just want to move everything away from the middle. The middle is only used to connect the right side and the left side.
Okay, yeah. Okay, sure.
And you could even consider, but depending on how much coverage you have, like right now, I think if you cover all the critical damage and the IED and the boss damage, I think you still have a little bit left over, so you can even take a little bit of crit. But once you hit 4K, so I wouldn't probably move into that. I would wait until you hit 4K, and then just be like, fill the IED, fill the critical damage, and then go to the other side, and then see what you can do. If you only have a few points, you could do critical rate maybe, because then you could maybe switch some of the link skills that give you a little bit of critical rate out and get one that gives you more damage instead.
Yeah,
But
sure,
that depends on if you have made all the characters already. If you can't do that yet, then just go into boss damage just for raw, pure chunking damage on bosses.
Okay, yeah.
So all of this, I think, will get you enough ID for now, but the main thing is going to be building the Legion even bigger for even more ID and building the link skills stronger. But I think you'll be fine with the level 3 link skills. Once you're going from 6k to 8k, then just do the characters with the good link skills first and get those to 210 instead of to 200. And then do all the characters with the good double S bonus on the member bonus, get those to 200 first, and then see how many characters you still need to level to get to 8k.
Okay, sure, yeah.
Because then those will be way stronger. They have big links, big Legion buffs. You know, you'll have access to all of the Monster Park potions you need at that point. You can probably have a lot of Legion coins, so you can buy experience coupons from the shop, and then just blocking them out from 140 to 200 will be really fast on those characters.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Sure.
And then we want that 8k because then you get 5 extra characters on the board, and then you can basically fill IED and critical damage and boss damage, and then have some left over to even put into critical rate if you need to.
Okay, sure, yeah. So I guess we can move on to the gear quickly.
I think we covered everything. I guess the one thing, do you feel comfortable with everything around the Matrix? Because
like the Matrix, like I get it. I know, like there's some. I don't have the best nodes. Like I have 2 of the best nodes. Like the showdown and.
Yeah, the top left is perfected. Yeah, and then the other 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're in a little bit of a pickle because you're like way over on the quad throw, right?
Yeah, on the quad throw.
And the assassin's mark is really high as well. Yeah.
So I'm not sure about that. Yeah.
Yeah, so you know, so we have exclamation mark V matrix in the command. That one shows like which skills you want to level in the boost nodes on all the characters.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, for Nightlord you can find them, but for all the other characters you can find them as well. So like Dark Flare, Death Star, Sudden Raid is the second set of tries that you're looking for. So you have a really solid foundation, right? Like. But now you're over-leveled on a bunch of them.
Yeah, I'm over-leveled.
Yeah, so we want to see which ones we want to keep. So you're locked into some because... Like, ideal tri-node is like, you know, for the first one is to have Quattro Assassin's Mark Showdown. What you are not going to do is, like, keep those 2 on the top left, right? Because then you would have to get rid of the first one on the second line, and that one's already level 18, so we don't want to do that. So instead, what you want to look for is boost nodes that can replace one of the 2 on the top left that have 2 of the same skills, or maybe even 1. Like the easiest to replace would be the top left one with Showdown, because you already have Quad Throw twice on the other ones, and you have Assassin's Mark already twice on the other 2 as well. So if you can get the top left one, the Showdown one, with a combination of Sudden Raid and Death Star, for example, that would work. But best would probably to find Dark Flare and one of those other 2. That'd probably be the easiest.
I'm pretty sure like the Dark Flare, Death Star, and Sudden Raid. I have it.
Yeah. But that's all. Yeah, that's quote unquote only a level 11. So you can see that one interchangeably with your level 13.
Okay.
So,
yeah. Sure.
So if you switch that. Then you're looking for 1 Dark Flare and 1 Sudden Raid. Yeah, so then you would need to get a Showdown, Dark Flare, Sudden Raid on the top left one, and then replace your current level 13 with that level 11, and then you can disassemble that level 13.
Okay, sure, yeah.
That would probably be the best option. So you're just looking for a better Sudden Raid one at that point. And then when you find that Sudden Raid one, just unequip this one, and then use the level 20 to upgrade the other one, and all the experience will transfer over immediately. Do you understand that part?
Yeah. So
you just click the other one, enhance.
Yeah. I just need to change a bit of my nodes.
Yeah. So equip the 11 instead of the 13, and then all you need to do is switch to Showdown one, and then you have the perfect. Then you have the perfect combination.
Yeah. Okay. Sure. Thanks for that.
Yeah. When it comes to the boost node, so you wanna throw the throw blasting in there, right? When you're bursting, that's a lot of damage. So you have to probably craft that one.
Yeah.
But yeah, you basically just want to get extra levels so you can get the extra characters in there. You don't have that much upwards mobility, so if you need rope lift, then that's cool. If you could do the boss without rope lift, then that's a free slot to get extra damage in.
Oh no, yeah, I use it for a bit of Golox, in the start, and then I just change it because the platforming in the start to get to his heart is a bit annoying.
Yep, for sure.
I just change it frequently.
So what do you replace it for?
For now, like when I'm bossing, I switch it to Shuriken. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
I know, like you said, there was
Blink is changing, so for like future reference, if you get a blink node, you can keep that one. It'll when it levels up, it'll give you passive 1 weapon and magic attack. So up to level 30 weapon and magic attack, which is really nice. And it also becomes a floating skill that you can fly with for a short duration. So it can help you with your survivability as well, which as a Nightlord is pretty useful. That's like, just if you open one that you don't extract it, but you keep it. The other thing is you want to use Speed Infusion to hit your max attack speed. So if you get that one, definitely keep room for that.
Okay.
And Throw Blasting is really big burst damage. If you use Throw Blasting and Spread Throw at the same time, you will just... And like Last Resort and Shadow Walker, like you just blow up bosses like crazy. And one of the nodes you can definitely get rid of for that in the short term is the Decent Advanced Blessing. Like that one, you will equip it, but that one will probably come into play like in 6 slots or something, or like when you're level 255. For now, it doesn't do nearly enough to take up one of your slots. Like when you're bossing, you want the Bind in there, you want the Throw Blasting in there, you want the Shuriken in there, you want to be able to switch the Holy Symbol at the end, you need the Speed Infusion in there. These are all higher priority. The Decent Advanced Blessing is way down the list. It's even after Decent Combat Orders, I think.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Okay. So that one is way down. If you don't need Rope Lift, then that one can move in. Then that one could also move out for one of those other skills. Venom Burst is like level 270 or something that people use it when they have absolutely nothing to put in anymore. And then Venom Burst is like 0.3% of their damage or something in a BA.
Yeah.
I think the big scroll, the one that level 4 one, I think that one is probably temporarily going to be mainly just for mobbing. And for bossing, I think you're going to put that one away. You might keep it for Damien, right? Because he flies up and then the scroll can still hit him up there. For that, he can be really useful. But for the other ones, I would focus on the bursting skills, on the Throw Blasting, on the Bind, on the Speed Infusion. Maybe even buy 1 extra slot for now until you hit the next level. If you need help with bossing. If you could do the bossing okay for now until you get to 235, then you can equip the extra burst. Yeah, it depends on how much the boss moves around, right? If the boss is pretty stationary, then you can use the Dark Omen. If the boss moves around a lot and you only have a short amount of time to hit him, then you can use the Shuriken. Kind of depends on how big the boss map is, right? If it's a huge boss map and it could just fly away, then it really sucks. If the boss map is like the size of Dark Omen, and then you can confirm all the hits for Dark Omen, then that one is priority. So it kind of depends. But you want the Bind, right? You need to confirm your Throw Blasting and your Spread Throw, and most bosses are just like hopping around, or they're trying to kill you. Yeah, exactly. So the Bind is super mandatory there, and leveling the Bind if you get extra is very, very useful because the cooldown is super long, way longer than your burst even though you already have a pretty long cooldown on your burst. So leveling up the Bind if you can, right? If you find extra, definitely do that.
Okay, sure, yeah.
Yeah,
okay,
so for mobbing, mainly I would just switch in Holy Symbol for the Blessing. And then for bossing, I'll probably, find a way to get your Bind in there. But yeah, try to get to 235 so you can throw in, maybe even temporarily, maybe get rid of the 2 extra boost nodes to throw the damaging skills in. I think you will see an improvement, especially if you move those nodes, right? Because you're really close to being maxed already on the beginning nodes anyway. And the Dark Flare, Dark Omen, Sudden Raid is mainly for mobbing and for like min-maxing on the hits. So it might even be better to move those out temporarily for the extra bursting skills. You will see your bossing just do way more damage. All you have to do is craft Speed Infusion and Throw Blasting. But your burst will just, be nuts.
Yeah, okay, sure, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna check it, sure.
Other than that,
the Matrix, yeah?
Yeah. I guess you have one matrix point, but yeah, you know how that works because you have all the other slots leveled up. You probably just forgot to click it. It's fine.
Yeah. So I guess we can move on to the gear and see what's there to improve.
Well, yeah, we could probably improve everything, but the idea is like, what is the priority, right? And we do have a 5, 10, 15. 5, 10 event, 5, 10, 15 event this Sunday. What's your like? How much money are you working with right now? Like, how much do you have? I see 1.3 bill in the screenshot. Is it around there?
Unfortunate.
Oh, did you spend it?
Around there.
Oh, you spent on the shoulder, right?
Yeah, I spent it for the shoulder.
Yeah,
I have like 500 mil. So I can farm. I guess like Sunday I can farm like almost all night. Yeah, I got what to do tonight.
Yeah.
I have what to do. Yeah.
So what Star Force did you get your shoulder to?
Oh, I was a bit lucky on it. I got to 15.
Okay, perfect. And that one is right on the edge, ready to get into 17. That's good.
Yeah.
Glove is a question mark. Well, I'll just go over everything. So when it comes to your WSE is like locked in for like ever, right? The 20 boss is a little bit unlucky. They are changing in KMS. They changed the 20% boss. It doesn't exist anymore in Unique, so they're changing it to 30%. They don't re-roll the old items that had 20. Those are going to keep 20, sadly. But if you would roll that in the future, you basically have a higher chance of rolling 30% boss instead, and they remove that.
My sub weapon like for a 30% attack, I guess I can like try.
Yeah, but that's like so far down the priority list that I don't even want to mention it, honestly. Because like your weapon is set until you go for like full arcane and then go back to making an actual weapon, right? So that's where that is in the priority list. The emblem is like if you somehow get enough IED from literally everything that cannot get replaced for damage at all, then we would redo this. But all the other priorities would even be like just put less Legion grid into IED if you don't need it, and put it into boss damage, critical damage, and into the main stats in the beginning. Or maybe put more hyper stats into more damage and more boss damage, and lower into IED. You would do all of that before you do like, oh, let's redo the potential on a double prime with a 40 IED, right? Like that's just so far down the list. So WSE, that's always a priority. That's like locked in forever. So we're looking at everything else. Badge, like that's good potential. This badge would come up if you were trying to go for more than 2 lines of potential on legendary and everything. Then the badge and the heart would be first because they have the lowest amount of junk lines. So they're the cheapest to get to 2.5 or 3 line potential if you were gonna do that.
Okay, yeah.
So that's something to keep in mind. When it comes to Star Force, you can get them to 17, but they don't get weapon attack from stars past 15.
Yeah,
so
past 15. Yeah.
So and you have to safeguard everything, and it's 150, so it's kind of expensive too. So for Star Forcing, it's actually kind of a low priority.
Okay, sure, fine.
So the CRA is already 17. Are you familiar with the flames and the flame scores and how that works? Like what kind of value you're aiming for?
Not really. I know you have a guide on it.
I've got a video on it, and then you can also, once you figure out the video, then I have the flame numbers here as well in the game stages, so you can see what flame score on what level of items in which level that you're going to be looking for. And then you basically look, what is the flame score on my item now, and the video will explain how you can calculate that, and what is the flame score that the grid says, and how much potential gain is there on all of my items. If an item has like 10 potential gain and another item has 30 potential gain, then you focus on the 30 over the 10 if you want to get to flaming, right?
Okay, sure.
Most of the time, flaming is something you do a little bit on the side to make slow progress. The main thing that you look out for is Star Force events, so you can go crazy on that, because then your money is worth a lot more, and there are no flame events. So that's why flaming is a little bit lower of a priority. Sometimes there are cubing events, and we're slowly bringing back DMTs. You missed the whole thing, but DMTs are basically a total shit show. There were too many people participating. The whole game would just crash. Nobody would be able to use any cubes. So they kind of discontinued DMT.
Really?
yeah, for like more than a year, for like a year and a half. But like a month ago, or yeah, a little bit over a month ago, they did a DMT where basically you had to register for a certain day, and then you could only DMT during those like 3 1-hour sessions spread throughout the day at like horrible PST times, but only on that day that you registered. And this, as far as I'm aware, worked like perfectly for everyone. It was a real shit show. Like you had to register for a certain day, and then you had to calculate the time zones to make sure that it was at the right time. So that part was really annoying. But for the people who were, showed up at the right time and registered properly and everything, it worked perfectly. Like there was no lag, there was no crashing. The cash up was like, a little bit busy, but it always is. But that one worked well. So that gives us the indication that hopefully they will bring it back, and that DMTs will be part of the regular schedule again, hopefully. But yeah, that's a little bit in question mark. So the main event you're looking for to make huge gains is going to be the Star Force events, the 5, 10, 15s. Yeah. So in that sense, it's a little bit unfortunate timing that you just came back and you didn't really have time to build up billions and billions. So this event might be just, trying to get some stuff to 17 that isn't 17
like,
yet.
Mini boost, not
yeah, exactly. Yeah, just mini boost. But mainly it'll be like for long term, those are the events you're looking out for. But that also gives you time to build backups, right? Because you're going past 17 soon, so stuff's going to be booming, so you want to get backups. So the other stuff after, usually what I look at after the WSE is the drop rate and meso-obtained gear. How are you there? Do you have a full set?
Yeah, I have a full set. Even I have like a superior
double pendant with
double drop. Yeah,
nice.
Drop. So I'm like
drop ring.
I'm pretty sure with full set I'm 120 drop and 100 meso.
120? Wait, that means you have 2 double items, right?
Oh, no. Wait, no.
100, probably.
So, yeah, sorry, my bad.
5 lines each, yeah. Yeah, that's really good, that's really solid. Yeah, and all those pieces also have a line of luck, or almost all of them. That's also really nice. That helps mitigate the losses.
Damage, yeah.
Yeah, and because your WSE is also solid, that should mean that killing-wise, you have no problem. So the only thing that's going to hold you back killing-wise would be boost nodes, but those are already really good as well, so that's not holding you back. So the only other thing will be arcane power.
Arcane power. I need to work on my dailies.
Yeah, that's going to be really important.
Yeah.
Are you aware of all the areas? Because you've played in 2 hours. They added 1 daily to every area right now in KMS. The only ones we don't have yet that they added are the ones in Morass and Esfera. We're still waiting for those, but all the other areas have 2 dailies every day.
Yeah. I like when I came back, I tried to do dailies, and I just really didn't know what's happening. Like I had 2 quests, and I remember doing like the normals, like save in Arcana, the saving mission.
Yep. Spirit Saver. Yeah.
Yeah, Spirit Saver and
the other NPC is like, what? More quests? 8 more symbols?
Yeah, more symbols. Like I did Dream Defender, and then I saw there's another side quest that gives me more, and
they finally added the light bulb on the world map. They didn't have that before, so a lot of people would come back and didn't know that those quests existed. Do you know about the extra kill quest in Choo Choo as well? I did all of them. I tried. You took to the chef?
That's pretty nice. It's like, it was like it's a boost like of 3 more symbols a day, something like that.
Yeah, so all the areas are connected like that now. So all the areas, if you look at Arcane River now, there's an area for every 5 levels, right? So they added the extra, they added Celas and Yum Yum Island and Reverse City. So now there's 200, 205 in Reverse City, and then 210, 215, 220, 225, 230, 235, and then Celas is 240. And then there's 245 is Moonbridge, 250 Labyrinth, 255 is Limina. And then in Grandis, 260 is Cernium, 265 is Burning Cernium, and then 270 is Hotel Arcus. So every 5 levels now there's a new area. So you never have to worry about like, when can I go to the next area? It's always like every 5 levels now. So that's easier to remember. And the other thing is what they added is if you do the storyline in Reverse City, you double up the amount of symbols you get every day from the kill quests in Vanishing Journey. So that goes from 8 up to 16. And the same thing in Choo Choo. If you do the storyline in Yum Yum Island, the daily kill quest that gives you 4 extra in Choo Choo goes up to 8.
Oh, so like I can catch up like
Yeah, you can catch up
finish
with
my,
exactly. You can level up the Vanishing Journey and choo like crazy, and Arcane as well, right? Because that's 18 a day now, even without a double up. 10 from
yeah,
Spirit Savior, 8 from the kill. That's a lot.
yeah. So the only
Lackline
one
is still a little bit
that's
slower.
the
Yeah.
only one holding me back is Lifeline, because Dream
Yep.
Defender is still about your damage and your stats and
Yeah,
everything like
yeah,
that.
and especially if you're very burst heavy, it's hard to climb to the next 10
Yeah,
floors.
because my AoEs doesn't like.
It doesn't last so long.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And there's a long cooldown in between. So the main thing is going to be to make sure you definitely do the kill quests. The kill quest is also went up in KMS, so it went up from like from the 4-day, I think, to 6 or to 8, like one of the two. So it's also going to be better to just do the kill quests every day. And then they also added the extra in Morass and the Sphera for extra symbols every day. So the main thing to do for the tower for Lackline is just, if you can clear a certain floor, just go in, clear it, and then leave, and then just do that 3 times and don't waste too much time. Since you have long cooldown between your skills, you probably want to go in, burst it down, go do something else, do another quest, wait for your cooldowns to come back, go in again, right? So you don't waste too much time just sitting out the tower. And build up your tower points, right? Do you use your tower points sometimes for the special skills?
No.
That's good. Okay, because you want to save them up. So you can save up to 3,000 points. And if you're in Dream Defender, on the left side, you have like the little UI where it shows you which maps are corrupted. And then above that or below that, maybe below that, there's like the 4 skills that you can use. So the best skill to use there would be the bell. If you use that one, it immediately changes one of the boxes to the positive color. So it'll change one of the purple ones to yellow immediately. So what that means is that if you spawn in the middle and you have one in front of you, you're fully bursted up, you blow that one up instantly, then you use the bell, you're immediately at only 1 purple. So all you do is walk to the last purple, destroy that one with the last of your burst, and then walk to one of the 2 that weren't colored, and then you can blow that one up, or you can kill the monsters there, so you can stop the corruption, so that it never gets to purple, and that way you can very easily do a floor. So what you want to find is when do you need to use one, right? If you have a side spawn, so the middle one is already yellow and all the purple ones are on the side and you have to walk to that first, a bell will be very beneficial because it'll make sure that the bar doesn't go all the way to the left, to the right side already before you can even start killing, but it'll already start going to the left side, so it already is moving in your favor. But if you have 3,000, it costs 300 to activate one. So for all 10 floors, if you're climbing to the next decimal, you can use it on every floor. So the combination of that and Monster Park potions, big buffs, and the guild skills. And the guild skills are going to be instrumental there because the guild skills were redone. I don't know if you've looked into it, but they're like they can all go to level 15 now. And at level 15, they give you 30 minutes buff with 1 hour cooldown. So you can use them for a half hour. If you're training, you can alternate between 2. You can use one for half an hour, then another one, and then the first one will be back. You can alternate, so that'll keep your training speed very high as well. But for bursting, you can use like both of them and be super strong for half an hour, and then just do something else for half an hour and wait until they come back. And there's one for critical damage now that gives you 30% critical damage if it's maxed, which is insane. And then there's 30% damage, and then there's a boss and ID as well, but typically those are lower level depending on how good your guild is. So in our guild, we have those last 2 max, so we have 30% damage, because boss damage only works on bosses, but damage works on both bosses and normal monsters, so that's a higher priority. So you can get 30% critical damage, 30% damage, and 20% boss damage, and the last one lasts for 20 minutes, and the other ones last for 30 minutes. So if you add that together, plus Monster Park buffs, plus maybe use like Legion power, use the DAG buff for the extra attack, right? Maybe you can get through the first 2 floors without using too much of your burst, or maybe only using one of your burst skills. Then you use a clock maybe for the cooldown. Then you use throw blasting the next one. Then you use the clock again. Use the bell, sorry. And then you keep using the bell if it's necessary. And if you get a lot stronger, remember that the monsters in Dream Defender are considered boss monsters. So your boss damage will help. So you want to use your bossing setup for that. You don't necessarily need IED because they don't have that much defense. But the more boss damage you can pump in, the more damage you can do there.
Okay, nice to know. I didn't know that
Yeah.
they called single bosses. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, you'll notice the numbers being really big there. And in any floor, if you think you're done, but the bar is still purple, always keep moving. Always go to the next one that's going to be corrupted and kill the monsters. If you do that, you stop it from corrupting, and you can guarantee that you're going to get to the next floor, but you don't go too quickly, and it'll give you more time to get the cooldowns back on your skills. That's also a good tip. And remember to use the little wooden post to teleport, right? In Dream Defender, you know about those? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, so guild skills are going to be instrumental to helping you, because the bosses you could kill before, and the annoying content like Helix, just get some buff freezers, and then just get the guild skills, and you should be able to blow up Helix like crazy, especially if you do the switches that we talked about, right? Switch 2 of the boost nodes out, get the throw blasting in there. Bind won't work on Helix, so you just want to throw something in that does even more damage. Probably the Shuriken, with the rope lift.
One more question, like I guess the gear probably gonna skip Epso because of the update you said with
Yeah.
So Epso is probably not gonna be my priority right now. Probably just fixing my Legion and most of the other things.
Legion will be the foundation, and then for Star Force, the event right now, you can definitely try to get some 17s. But yeah, if you have 500 mil, you're probably going to run out of that pretty quickly. Even if you farm a little bit, but you can get most of your stuff to 17, right? Because a lot of stuff is already really close.
I have 15, and 13 stars.
Exactly. You have some really close. The main thing is going to be to probably just wait in the next 5, 10, 15, and then go really hard for Star Forcing past 17 on the items that you have a lot of backups. So that's probably going to be CRA first. And then it's going to be doing all your weeklies and dailies that can give you backups. So it might be like, you do have the aquatic letter I accessory with 2 lines, but if you're going to go past 17, it might be that the monocle comes into play then, right? Because the extra Star Force is really going to make that really strong. And then backups in general. So doing Commercy for Dinero backups is going to be important. Doing Princess No for Kana Treasure Ring backups, right? Doing Helix for extra coins there for possible backups. And then you basically just go by list of what is the lowest risk. So like CRA is probably going to be lowest risk. And then maybe Kana Treasure Rings. But probably the second lowest is going to be, you want to save reinforced earrings if you get those. And you want to get either reinforced belts or Papulatus, not Papulatus, sorry, Pink Bean belts, so that you can Star Force those and a Transfer Hammer into the Superior at high star, so you don't have to risk blowing up the Superior.
Okay, I get it.
Yeah, same thing with the Superior Ring as well. If you get like a lot of kind of treasures, or you get lucky and you have a lot of backups for Meisters, then you can also get really high Star Force there, and then Transfer Hammer into the Superior Ring. And because you're going to be transfer hammering all the and then for the pendant the same thing, but then with Dominator pendants. So those are like the really important dailies. So normal arc, Princess Noah is a weekly, and the Helix for the backups, and then Pink Bean as long as you need belts, but you can build those up very quickly. Those are like important dailies and weeklies, so that you can have fodder to Star Force into high numbers when there's a 5, 10, 15.
And then transfer hammer.
And because you're going to transfer hammer, you're going to replace the potential. So you also know that the potential on those items doesn't have to be perfect, right? If it's unique with 3 lines, or if it's legendary with 1.5 line or something, that's totally fine for now, because you're going to have to redo that later anyway. So don't min-max on those too much. The items that you can min-max on are the ones you're going to keep as they are. So probably like the Kana Treasure Ring, the Meister Ring, right? Like the accessories first. Or when you have the transposed Dominator into the Sweetwater Pendant, that one would also be like, if you want to work on potentials, like remember badge hard first, and then like accessories are right after that, because your WSE is already good. So that's like out of the picture for now. Once you get higher Star Force CRA, you get your accessories like all on point, everything is 17, and then some of those potentials are a little bit better, and the flames are like okay on everything. I believe that with your Matrix, once your symbols are better, you can be strong enough, and then you just need levels, right? And you have your familiars coming in, all of that. Your Legion builds up, your your crit rate, IED, like all of that comes up as well. You should be definitely strong enough to be doing hard lucid and normal will runs, and then you can start working on the arcane stuff without needing to worry about Abso at all.
Yeah, sure.
And then when the winter comes around, you can buy the whole set, upgrade the whole set, and go 5-set arcane.
Yeah. Last question.
Mm-hmm.
Princess Snow, I saw your stream about the changes, but right now, and like I want to know right now and after the changes, why is not Princess Snow, sorry, Oz.
Oz, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, why like Oz is late, like end game, late game.
Yeah, late game, end game, yeah.
So why is it like? What are the rings that people like?
Yeah, I don't know the exact numbers, but there are basically I think there's 3 rings that are considered pretty good. For Nightlord, I think it's a totaling ring and the weapon jump ring are considered pretty good. They basically give you just a bunch of extra stat, like a crazy amount for a short duration. But the main ring that Nightlords want and that most other people want is the Ring of Restraint, the ROR. And it comes in 1, 2, 3, 4 variants, and the higher the number, the better the ring is. And the RO4 is just crazy. It gives you, I think it gives you 50% weapon attack or something for 20 seconds or something.
Whoa.
So if you combine that with throw blasting, spread throw, Shadow Walker, last resort, like your burst is just fucking crazy. And it's 100% even, someone said. So like it's for 15 seconds, yeah, 100% attack for 15 seconds. And you know how well Nightlords scale off of attack, right?
Yeah.
So that's just, and especially once all of your stuff is past 17 stars and everything gets the extra weapon attack on the Star Force, and your CRA is even higher, those pieces are going to have like 80 weapon attack each. It's just insane boost. But like it's RNG, it's a whole bunch of content that some people don't like doing. So there is a big barrier to entry. Yeah, but if you do get it, it's nuts. The guy I was running Hard Loose and Hard Will with, he's like very high. He's like very strong. I think he's like 50 something K stat. I don't know, like 54 or something, like an old Nightlord. But he was at level 270 with an RR3, and he would like blow up like all the bosses like solo. Like not even. Yeah, he would only have like half his burst and kill Hard Lucid with like 15 seconds left or something. Like like just just crazy. In Gloom, I think Risk Taker is a little bit more dicey. The Risk Taker also gives a lot of damage, but if you get hit by anything, then you die. But what you can do, of course, is if you use Dark Side and Shadow Walker, you can sometimes stay in Dark Side for a long time, right?
Yeah.
And then you can be like somewhat immune. So then there can be situations where the Risk Taker can also be good. But, you know, once you start doing that, you can probably like join Nightlord Discord, join Oz Discord, and maybe find other Nightlords, like higher level ones, and ask like, hey, I'm going to do Oz, like, what do I want? And you know about, like I talked about the upcoming changes. So if you do Oz now, you can probably keep the boxes and wait for the changes to come. So then you have a higher chance of getting good rings.
Yeah, the good rings,
yeah, because there are some rings for other stats as well, and if you get those, they're just complete throwaways, and that's going to change as well. So the boxes will become more valuable in the future.
Okay.
Yeah.
So guess my main thing is like Legion.
Mm-hmm.
After that, fixing a bit of my matrix, getting my symbols maxed out.
Yeah, I would say for daily priorities, I would say like make 1 Legion character a day, just 1 new one, level 60. If you want to do more, you can, but if you do that at least, then in 2 weeks, you have like 4.5k Legion. You know, that's already a good goal, I think. Yeah. And that's not too much pressure. Just make 1 character get to level 60. That's not too much.
Yeah, and dailies.
Simple dailies, like those 2. If you don't have much time to play, those 2 would be the priorities. If you can level to get to 235, you can also unlock Asphera, and that will speed up Morass and Arcana, right? So you have to do 1 less daily in those areas. And you have access to the extra 8. That would probably be beneficial as well. So if you feel like grinding, try to get that 235 out so you can get access to all. But yeah, other than that, those would be the main priorities, And then like Helix, normal Arc, those are like important bosses to do if you have the time. Sorry, I interrupted you. Continue.
No, like I was about to say, so like my daily thing is just bossing, arcane, like you said, Legion, and then just save up the Maso for the events, like
Yeah,
the
because your
Star Force events.
your account is solid. Like you have the full drop rate set. Your WSE is good. Your Star Force is like close enough to everything 17. It's like with the upcoming, you'll have most of your pieces there. So there's no immediate pressure on like, and the potentials are also pretty good. Like there's no immediate pressure on like, oh, this thing is horrible and needs to be changed immediately. Everything is like already quite good, quite near where you want it. So the main thing you can aim for is like the high star, like 21 star into 20 for your superior stuff. So for that you need backups, you need fodder.
I need fodder. Yeah. So it's just doing dailies, saving up for the next Star Force event, and getting my monocle up to date, like getting it 17 star at least, and good potential.
Yeah, probably just so if you want to go for long term, have you leveled up your boat at all?
No, I really didn't. Like it's level 2 right now.
Like the rank 2, the sailboat.
Yeah, the sailboat.
Yeah. If you want to go for long term, I linked you as well in Discord. Basically, if you're going for long term, you want to level up to the Dreadnought, and then once you have the Dreadnought, you can do your dailies very fast and get like a fuck ton of dineros. And if you eventually want to go for 18, 19, 20 star, it'll be way more efficient to do it that way. So since you don't need the monocle right now, it's probably going to be a better idea to make sure you have enough dineros to make the upgrade for the boat when you get it, which you probably will because it takes quite a while to get to level 10 on the sailboat. But to make sure you have at least like 500 dineros on the backup so that when you do rank up, you can immediately buy the rank up and go for the Dreadnought.
Yeah, okay, sure.
And because you don't need to switch to the monocle immediately, I would just wait until there's like a 30% off event and then level up the monocle during that so you can get the cheapest Star Force cost possible, right? And then wait for another 5, 10, 15 to get it from 15 to 17.
Sure,
yeah, because you could just wait it out. Like that's not like super important. The one other thing you can do if you want to is, like you said, the glove. There is definitely some damage to be gained there. So if you do feel that there is no 5, 10, 15 yet, you don't want to go into the CRA stuff yet, but you do want some more damage on certain bosses or something, it could be valuable, like you said, to move into the Abzo glove. Just because, if you're going to move into a glove, you might as well move into the Abzo anyway. You can get a little bit of a set bonus with the shoulder. Gives you a little bit.
Okay. The only problem I still didn't do do you still need to do like the quest line for
Lotus?
Yeah.
So Lotus and Damien and Monad and Akechi, all of those quest lines are shared within your account. So if you do it one time on one character, all of the characters can go in.
Yeah, but you still have to do him.
At least once, yeah, at least once.
Yeah, okay.
So for Lotus, you'll have to do that, yeah. You want to do it later anyway, because you want to, if you can do hard Lotus and stuff for the Berserk and for the big crystal and all that. So eventually you want to do it, but yeah, you have to like take a day or do like you can do one of the chapters and then just leave and then continue on a later day, because all in all it's like 4 hours. It takes quite a long time, so that you can roll for like 1 line critical damage and 1 line of stat is what most people aim for. If you get lucky, you can also get speed infusion or sharp eyes on it, which can save you some matrix slots, which could be cool because you're kind of, we're still kind of close on the matrix slots, right? So if you hit like critical damage and sharp eyes or something, that would be really valuable as well.
So 1 second, sorry for interrupting you, but I guess does the best potential gloves still are double crit damage and sharp eyes?
Like the best, if you're like high level, would be triple critical damage, but that's like an expected cost of I think 2.5 trill. So that's not something people aim for. That's something people pray for. What's reasonable, very good, is like underneath that, what some people go for, but it's also very, very expensive, is 2 lines of critical damage and 1 line of anything. So if it's speed infusion or sharp eyes or all stat or your main stat or your secondary stat, like anything useful, that's already very, very, very expensive as well. We're talking like 20 bill plus, 25 bill plus. After that, it'd be like 2 line critical damage. That's what most people can realistically aim for, just black cube for 2 line critical damage. I wouldn't do that on the Abzo. I would save all that money, and when you switch into Arcane, go for that on the Arcane glove.
Yeah.
It's not as important for the Abzo stuff. Yeah. And then 1 step below that would be a line of critical damage and either sharp eyes or speed infusion or stat. That's probably what I would aim for. If you can't get that, just critical damage is also good. Or, yeah, what's almost equivalent to critical damage is just like 3-line stat. If you hit like 33% luck or something, that's pretty close to just getting a line of crit damage as well. It depends a little bit per class. Some classes get way more critical damage, so they get a little bit of diminishing returns, right? Like what we talked about with the damage in the beginning, with the reboot passive. So if you're like an archer and you have vicious shot during your burst, you can have like 200% critical damage. Then the stat might be comparatively a little bit better. Better than without the critical damage. Not better than critical damage, but like better than if you didn't have it. Yeah, so like 1-line critical damage, 1-line stat is typically what people aim for. It depends on how hard you want to go, but just critical damage over a line of 6% luck, of course, would be a big ass increase, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
So that could be a temporary upgrade that you work on until you wait for the next 5, 10, 15. Because that could easily be another 3 to 4 months until we get that, right?
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
So you might have a lot of money and you might have a little bit of an itch, like I want to upgrade something. Then feel free to go hard on but like go decently on the gloves. Like the next 30% off. You can send this one to 15 if you want. You're probably gonna get some glove backups by then. So you don't have to safeguard. If there's a 5, 10, 15 transfer, or just already get it to 16, transfer it, keep it at 15 Abzo, work on the potential, and then a 5 to 15, push it to 17, and then work on the CRA, something like that.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. So I guess that's it. Cause
I think that's all the pieces.
Yeah, all the pieces and everything. Like
I think I forgot the cup. Or maybe I missed it when I scrolled.
The cup, it's the pink bean.
Yeah, pink bean cup. What's the flame on that looking like?
64 luck.
Okay. It was I was waiting to say if you were going to say like all stat with that as well. The ideal, like the end game.
64 stat and 6 attack power. So.
Oh yeah, that's nice. That's nice. Yeah, you want to keep the flame of that like roughly just a little bit below, but like around the level where the CRA is at as well. So long as those are like roughly similar, then you're in a good spot.
Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, look at the little guides that we talked about. Maybe I would check the flame video and check the CPAP video to help you out.
Yeah, the CPAP. Yeah.
I did mention Akechi, but I don't think you know about that boss.
What boss?
Akechi Mitsuhide is the name. It's like a JMS boss that was thrown over. That's one of those bosses where if you do the pre-quest one time, you can also do it in all your characters. CPAP and Akechi together have really good crystals. So those are good weekly bosses that I think you can do in your current situation that can give you a lot of extra income. So if you look, I don't know, CPAP is almost 80 mil crystal. And Akechi is 86 mil, so those two together is 160, 165, almost 166 mil per week extra. So that's good value. Akechi is mainly just annoying. You want to kite him, right? Like don't stay too close, but also don't stay too far. Stay in like mid-range away from him. And he does like a bunch of annoying attacks, but what you will do is just for the first phase, like kill him slowly. And then he goes into second phase, and then just bind him and use your burst and just blow him up, and he'll be gone. He doesn't have nearly as much HP as Chaos Papulatus, but he's almost as annoying. So just save your burst, blow him up. And for Papulatus, watch the video. That helped a lot of people. I got a lot of good feedback for that, where people are very happy that they had the video to help them for CPAP, because it can be very frustrating to try to figure out how it works with nothing,
Okay, yeah, sure.
But yeah, aside from that, just check over the commands that I have in the chat whenever it's necessary. For Legion, you have the general order. For progression, you can kind of keep track of if there's an event, like what do I need to work on. But we kind of already went over that. So it's mainly going to be once you finish the flame video that you can see, is there any item where the flame score is like really, really bad? I didn't see anything like that, but you'll probably see, which items are supposed to have similar flames, and if some of them are way lower, then you can like identify where is the lowest risk to lose a lot of damage, and where do I get the most value from using a flame that I find, basically.
Okay, yeah, sure. I guess that clears up, because like I came back to the game and like I was Helix got revamped, Familiar System got revamped.
Yeah, did you see
And
the prices of the Helix drops
prices.
in the shop?
Um,
Oh yeah, that's one
not,
extra
I
thing.
don't
So
remember
if
them.
you used to do Helix, you can
Yeah.
buy new Helix coins with the old Helix coins. Yeah, you're doing that? Okay, yeah.
I did that.
Yeah.
But did like the prices went up? I just don't really remember the old prices because
Yeah, I don't know exactly. It was like 300, I think, or something for Superior, and now it's 700.
yeah, but that's a reasonable like
Yeah, because you have backups.
bump up.
It's
Yeah, you have backups now.
In general, just people who were used to the old system, and then when it changed, were very upset because, like in the past, if you were a Nightlord and you had good boost nodes at level like 205, you could solo Helix, right? And now, like, if you go 205, I don't think you can even solo Hardlux at this point. You have to be a little bit stronger, and you have to be like 235 to very easily do Helix. Usually, it's way later in the game. But if you look at how good the set bonus is compared to everything else, it makes total sense. Because it's so OP, right? 30 boss, 30 IED is just broken.
Yeah, that's broken.
Yeah, and the fact that you could get it so easily, yeah, people just got used to it. So, but yeah, keep doing that, keep exchanging the coins, and yeah, when we figure all this stuff out, Helix doesn't have that much that much PDR. It's well, I think he has 200. No, he's lower. I'm pretty sure Hard Magnus has 250%. Oh yeah, so Helix, no, C-Val, you talked about the 93 IED. That's lower now because back then C-Val had 300% PDR, but now he only has 200%. So the whole difficulty of CRA was brought down quite a bit with that because IED was not super easy to get, and because they redid the familiars, the codex was gone, right? So the easy 30% from the Leafer set was gone. That's probably why your IED is a lot lower than you remember it.
Yeah.
And that's why you need to get the familiars now and the 15% IED to replace it.
Yeah.
That's where that.
I remember I got the codex and my AD was like 91.
Yeah,
so
you were like really exactly. Like you put it in your Legion, you put the right link skills, and you have the 40 on your emblem, and then the codex. Yeah, and it was an easy 90 plus. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but yeah, we still want to get that number up. So again, for IED, we didn't really go over that, but well, we kind of did the puzzle, right? So you kind of know where you're at with everything. If you want to check the IED command, it also explains like how IED works and what the difference is between what you see in the stat window and what the actual IED is that you apply. So I call that the difference between the visual in the IED window and the functional is like what is the on-hit number. So when you look at the game stages here, this is the functional IED, right? So you might have to calculate that for yourself to find out what that number is. And if you use the IED command in the chat, you'll get a video that explains it, a link to the calculator that you can use to calculate the number for yourself, and then a list of the sources that I also used so you can check, you know, all the sources and make sure that you have everything so that you can double check what is your number. And then once you figure out that number that you have, you check that with the progression grid, and then you see if you're on the right spot or not.
Last question. It's really like a mid-max thing. Inability, because I know there's changes coming up. We talked about. Like the cost is gonna be really like low. So you're saying to save my like Honor Sphere right now. And
yeah, if you get like a free circulator for something, I would try to use it. And then see if you hit any of the inner abilities that would be better for you, right? You can check ! inner ability for the best in slot for all the characters. So you can check what you would be looking for Nightlord. I'm guessing they probably want to min-max for crit rate on the second or third line. Oh, maybe not. I guess you do have quite some crit rate in your set. So see 8 damage to debuff, 21 attack. If you roll one of those, then you could lock into that and then just re-roll the top line. That wouldn't be too bad because you can get 20 boss would be good, but if you can get Meso Obtain, if you can get drop rate, that's still pretty good for the progression of your character, and you will have so much crazy boss like damage to bosses anyway because of your burst that whether you have 20 boss or not in your inner ability isn't going to be the difference between whether you can kill something or not. So you can kind of have more of a long-term vision for your inner ability. But yeah, if you don't get a circulator and you don't get anything good on the circulator, you just hold on to this. And then once the changes come through, you'll basically circulate to get one of those 2 lines on the second or third line first, and then lock that in, and then during a 50% off, well, probably you do this on the same day, right? During 50% off, roll the top line to get your try to get your boss damage back, But for now, it's probably just going to be save, honor experience,
Yeah, sure. Okay. Yeah, I think that's it.
Yep.
Thanks for the session. That
Yep.
really helped me, like, to get me back in the game and
Yeah.
really know what to do.
Yeah, it's good to know that you remember very clearly how things were. So then I remember how things are now. So then I can piece together how everything changed. If you sometimes
Yeah.
people are like, "Oh, I didn't play for 3 years. What changed?" Like, I don't know. I don't know. Was the Galax change? Was that 4 years ago or was that a
Yeah,
year and a
yeah.
half ago? I don't. I don't.
Yeah,
I don't
I
have
get
like
it.
a
Yeah.
log book of a captain's log, January 3rd, 2020. Like Helix has changed. I don't have that. So.
Yeah.
So it's good that you remember what the game was like. So I think we did everything. If there's still something that comes up that was different or something, you can always shoot a message on Discord or ask in the chat. There's a bunch of helpful
Yeah.
people always, and I stream a lot, so you know where to find me.
Yeah, sure. Well, thanks, Carl, for this session really helped me, like,
Yep,
getting back in the game.
no problem.
Well, have a good evening and
Yeah,
a good stream.
ערב טוב.
Thanks, dude. ערב טוב.
All right.
See ya,
Yeah,
dude.
have a good one. See you later.
Yeah, have a good one. See ya.
Bye. Yes, we were able to use a little bit of our Hebrew. We used Sava, we used Erev Tov. Yeah, so a little bit of catch up of the last 2 years. It's really crazy though when you can see how much changed in 2 years. When he's like, "Oh, I haven't played for 2 years," and you're like, "Okay, that game was pretty similar, right?" But when you think about it, like the whole balance of Arcane changed in that whole span. The whole set bonus change and the difficulty of Helix moved a lot of stuff around. The progress of Arcane symbols and the amount of content that exists later, that's like a whole shift. I mean, it's not exactly saying that it's a whole different game or something, but there's definitely a lot of stuff that moved around that does make you want to reprioritize on what to focus on more over what else, right? But yeah, hopefully for you guys who have not played it in a while, or people who are Nightlords and had some specific questions for Nightlord, hopefully that clears a bunch of stuff up. As always, we might have skipped some of the more fundamental things that you are wondering about. If you are, always check out the Twitch chat and use the commands in there, or just ask anyone while I'm live, anyone who's in there. They will probably send you just one of my commands that has a bunch of information in it, either a YouTube video, either a web post, or either an infograph that I've made, or like a grid like this that has all of the information in it. And then if you have a specific follow-up questions, just wait until I'm live. I stream all the time on Twitch, so you can find me there. As always, if you made it this far into the video, this is the part where I tell you guys about the giveaway. I do a lot of these sessions. These are paid sessions, and I wanted to also, because of the popularity that these sessions have on YouTube, wanted to give back a little bit to you guys. So if you guys leave a comment that you would like one of these sessions for you as well, I'll give 2 of these sessions away every month for free. And I will draw winners from the comments of the YouTube video. So if you guys are interested, leave a comment saying that you would want to win. And at the end of the month, so in like 2 weeks, I'll draw 2 winners over all of September, and I'll keep doing this like all the way throughout. So you might be a lucky person who gets one of these sessions for free. If you don't want to wait, you can also apply for the paid option. There's a discounted option for subs in my Twitch chat, and then there's the full price option and private options as well. If you're uncomfortable doing this live and being on YouTube, that's fine too. You can check the description of the video for information on all of that. As always, I'm always recruiting for my guild as well in Reboot NA. If you want to join, there's always a link to apply to that. And there's a third link as well if you have data for me. I try to bring comprehensive data to the community, and I try to rank all the classes. I try to rank how strong you need to be, all of that. For that, I need input, and I need your help for that. So if you have battle analyses for me, I use that to gauge how good classes bursts are. If you have videos of you training, I use that to grade how good the mobbing is and how good the training is on characters. Or if you have monsters killed per hour, you can just keep the track of the monsters killed very easily with the medal challenge. You just activate the medal challenge before you start training. And then after a training session, you just record how long you trained and how many monsters you killed. You can send the data to me as well. There's a very easy sheet where you can input all that information. There's also a link to that in the video. The more, the better, merrier. The better info I get, the more I can take the average, and the closer we can get to the actual power of the character. So for all the people helping for that, thank you very much. Yeah, that's everything. So thank you for watching. Hopefully the video was useful for you. Happy mapling, and I'll see you on the next one.